Obviously, I've talked about how my favorite story of all time is A Christmas Carol. We've covered several different versions of the story last year and this year, and we're definitely going to be continuing to do that over the course of the next couple of years we do this. But one of the ones that I'm kind of surprised kind of gets overlooked is the 2004 Christmas Carol version. The Christmas Carol, the musical, produced by Hallmark Entertainment, and mostly notable for being the first thing featuring Kelsey Grammer outside of Frasier, because Frasier had just come to an end the spring before. So, you got a version of this with him as Ebenezer Scrooge, which is, great casting overall. Look, we know what Kelsey Grammer is like outside of the acting thing and all that, and, that's what, he's still one of our great actors overall. Everything else about him, though, outside, I'm not even going to say that, because I did get an autograph. I did meet him at the Comic-Con one year up here, and he was a pretty cool guy overall, so. But anyway, let's talk about Christmas Carol the musical. This is basically pretty much the same version of A Christmas Carol you've seen done before, only this time it's based off of a musical version made in 1994, with songs featured by Alan Menken, of course, of the classic Disney scores with The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, so on and so forth, and Lynn Ahrens. Kelsey Grammer plays the role of Ebenezer Scrooge in this version with an all-star supporting cast on board, including Jane Krakowski from 30 Rock, Ally McBeal as the Ghost of Christmas Past, Jesse L. Martin as the Ghost of Christmas Present, Geraldine Chaplin as the Ghost of Christmas Future, Jason Alexander as Jacob Marley, and Jennifer Love Hewitt as Emily, Scrooge's love before he became greedy when he was younger. And what's interesting about this movie is that, unlike many of the other versions, our first view of the three ghosts doesn't come from the night of Christmas Eve. Instead, Scrooge meets the three ghosts first as real people in the town. Like, it's weird. Like if you go see A Christmas Carol on Broadway, on Broadway, or like in a play or something, that's something that usually happens. You don't usually see this in the movie versions of this, and I think that's kind of interesting overall. You got the Ghost of Christmas Past as a lamplighter, the Ghost of Christmas Present as a charity show barker, and the Ghost of Christmas Future as a blind old woman. I always like that they did that because it gives a little bit of foreshadowing, but at the same time, it doesn't feel forced whatsoever. It is also interesting to see these versions try things differently with the story. How are the songs in this? For the most part, they're nicely done. It's Alan Menken doing what Alan Menken does so well, creating catchy songs and doing it very well. I think my favorite one in the movie is Link by Jacob Marley, from his meeting with Scrooge. Nicely choreographed, the song is very catchy, and Jason Alexander's not that bad of a singer. Who knew? George Costanza could sing. It's a really good number. The rest of the songs overall are pretty good too. I like Jane Krakowski singing as well as she sings the song The Lights of Long Ago. It's a good song, but not quite on the same level as Link by Link. And like I said before, Kelsey Grammer has been one of my favorite actors. It's very rare that an actor can play the same character for more than 20 years and still be as great as he was when he first started this Frasier crane on Cheers, and then it came over to Frasier. And like I said, this was a pretty big thing for NBC in particular, and for him, because this was the first thing he did after Frasier came to an end the previous spring. And this was before NBC began to go downhill when they lost those shows the following year. He's good in Year of Scrooge, but I honestly think he's the weakest part of the movie. He's not really ranging himself like we've seen him do in other movies and shows, but he's not that bad in here. He's just not as great as I think he should be. His singing overall is great. The guy is a really good singer, and that's really the best thing about him in this movie, is that he's a very good singer, and he does sing it very well. Like I said, the rest of the cast is really good too. I like Krakowski, Martin, and Chaplin as the three ghosts, and Jason Alexander as Jacob Marley. The set pieces overall are really good, especially for a TV movie. You could tell they put a lot of money into making these sets look authentic and accustomed to the period of the storyline here, and it's very well done. I don't think this is up there with the best version of the story, but it's done very well. And while Kelsey Grammer is not as great as he should be as Scrooge, he does a commendable job, and he does sing well as the rest of the cast. The songs are nicely done, they follow the story very well, and for the most part the movie moves at a good enough pace that makes the film very watchable. I do recommend giving it a watch, especially if you like some of the other versions of the story. It probably won't be your favorite overall, but it is very interesting to see a different kind of take of a Christmas Carol done in the vein of a musical. We don't usually see it done like this before, but it's one I recommend checking out.